Good evening.
Good evening.
Hymn number 360. 360. Let's all stand. There is the fountain. Let's all stand, sing the first, second, and last.
Their guilty
Our next hymn number 362. 362, let's stand one more time. Power in the Blood.
with you tonight. Somehow I misunderstood and thought you were going to be here this morning. So I was looking for you this morning, but that was okay. We went on without you. But we're glad you're here tonight. Brother Rich sent me a text this afternoon and said that he had seen on your web page that you were supposed to be here tonight. So it's good to have you tonight. We appreciate you being here. We look forward to the message. If there's anything that's dear to anybody's heart, it ought to be child evangelism. More people are saved when they're children than any other age. And that means that we ought to put forth a lot of effort to reach children. Ms. Washington, that's what you do. You put forth that effort to reach our children. We're thankful for that. Sister Glenda's not here, of course. She's having problems. As you well know, you've probably already heard everything I've heard with her neck and with the lymph nodes in her neck. And so she was supposed to have another treatment on Thursday. I don't know whether she'll be able to have that. Keep her in prayer. She does have cancer of the lymph nodes. And so that's what they're treating her for. And that first treatment has been a challenge, it looks like. Brother John was supposed to be here tonight, but I assume that he probably figured out I can't come. And so you remember him in prayer tonight as well, as he has 2 fractured vertebrae in his back. And those he got mowing grass. That's just all the more the inspiration that old people should mow grass. And Brother Billy was telling me he's still short of breath, so remember to pray for him. But yes, it's not out of the ordinary for you to still have some problems at this point, but you're going back to your doctor, I think. He'll tell you whether that's okay. He really had 2 stents put in, and we were hoping that he would be 25 again. He's struggling still, so keep him 75, 80 people out of the service because of the harvest, so I apologize for that. But, people did this morning, didn't they?
I'm very sorry. I was spoken of the church this morning.
That's fine.
In my schedule. But I would love to have you want to kids in because, you know, I have all kinds of prizes for your eyes and object lessons that you can use.
Yeah. Can you share it with me?
Children of all ages.
Can you spark a fire within us to reach children?
That is my prayer.
Okay. Thank you.
It is a beautiful day the Lord has made, and I hope you are rejoicing and being glad in it. My name is Bob Fowler, and I am thankful for someone who cared for my soul and told me about Jesus.
Amen.
I grew up at Wake Christian Academy in Raleigh, which is a Christian school, family farm, general store called Lincoln's, Green Farm Supply in the Garner area. It's a Garner landmark, and loading drink boxes, and loading feed, and pumping gas, and making homemade sausages every Saturday morning. Grew up a very sheltered individual, but went to church every Sunday and at Christian school. But you know that even where I went to church at, they shared Jesus. They had the nice stories, and we carried things home in our hands. But it was at my Christian school that they gave a clear presentation of the gospel and gave us opportunity for response. And I can remember that even at an early age of recognizing that I was a sinner. My teachers helped me out with that. Because at the general store I grew up at, I grew up hearing people sit around talking, using words that weren't proper anywhere, especially in a Christian school. And so I didn't really know what the words meant, but I liked the expressions I got on people's faces when I used them. And so my first grade teacher, Mrs. Story, she grabbed me by the ear one day and carried me over to the sink and introduced me to a bar of soap. And I had used soap under here and under here before, but never in here. And I had to bite off the corner of the bar of soap. And I had to chew it up. And it was terrible. And I chew it up. And then I had to go, she took the wax rag and wiped some of my mouth. Had to take water, swish around, spit out, swish around, spit out. I thought I would never get that soap taste out of my mouth. Now, they get worried when I tell these stories today because they're afraid people might think they still do it today. They're not allowed to do that. But, too bad, right? Did washing my mouth out with soap take away the bad things I had said out of those people's ears? I wish we could have. We could. Did it take away that sin? The answer is no. But it made me think twice before I said those words again. It did. It got my attention. And, of course, in my first grade teacher, she had her own paddle. And my second grade teacher, the problem was that she didn't have her own paddle. And so when we got in trouble, we had to walk over and knock on the first grade teacher's door and ask to borrow the paddle. And of course, it didn't matter how loud the kids were, they were deathly quiet after that because you know what they're listening for. They're listening for in the hallway. And if it wasn't bad enough, you had to borrow the paddle, you had to go back, knock on the door, and return the bag. So, did I know that I was a sinner? I did. Did I know the gospel message that all have sinned and come short of the glory of God, and that God so loved me and you that He sent His only begotten Son, Jesus, that we could believe in Him and not perish but have everlasting life. Now I remember knowing and understanding I needed a Savior, and putting off making that decision even as a 7-year-old child. About 3/4 way through the school years, we held hands each morning and gave our prayer requests in circle. One morning, under conviction, I raised my hand. I wanted to become a Christian. My classmates prayed for me. Many of those I would graduate with later. But my second grade teacher, Mrs. Craig, took me outside and we sat down in the hallway. And you know what verse she turned to? My favorite Bible verse to this day. You know what verse she turned to? John 3:16. She put my name in it. For God so loved Bob that He gave His only begotten Son, that if Bob would believe in Him, Jesus, that Bob would not perish, but Bob would have everlasting life. And that I could place my faith and my trust in Jesus for forgiveness of sins. To have a relationship with Him, to not perish, but have an everlasting life. And I was so excited to know Jesus as my Lord and Savior. You know, our desire is that the children not perish. Jesus said in Matthew chapter 18, even so is not the will of your Father, which is in heaven, that one of these little ones should perish.
Yeah.
He doesn't want one of them to miss heaven. And sometimes people search high and low for God's will. What is God's will? What does God want to do? It is not His will that one of His little should perish. That's why he sent Jesus, that he so loved the world. Matthew 18:14. I like attention. Attention. I love attention. But I like attention to point people to Jesus. Now, I use looks a little bit like a candy cane. It wouldn't taste very good if you tried to eat it. It's just a rope. But I use it as an object lesson. Now, I do sometimes a lot of council time and different things with children, and they'll have me come do that, and I'll use illusions, surprises for your eyes. Sorry, grammar, English teachers. It's not grammatically correct, but it works. Surprises for your eyes. Because I don't do magic. I can't see abracadabra making things happen. But I use this right over left over right, and I can make a and not. Ta-da! Thank you very much. I know you are greatly impressed. If you can tie your own shoe, you say, I've got that, Mr. Bob. I'm going to do it. Right over left over right, I can make a knot. If I can do it with two hands, you might wonder, can you do it with one hand? With a little practice, right over left, same principle, left over right, you can make a knot. No. God does not want you to miss heaven. He does not. Now you may be wondering, if you can do that with two hands and you do it with one hand, can you do it with no, not do it with no hands. And if I could do it with my toes, you wouldn't want to see me pull my shoes off and try. It'd be bad. But what I can do is I can do it really fast. And I do it with my favorite Bible verse. What's my favorite Bible verse?
John 3:16.
John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. That God does not want you to perish. Now, did you see me tie that knot?
No.
If you blink, you probably missed it. Would you like to see it again?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you have to go say my favorite Bible verse. Now, my teacher put my name in it. Do you understand it was for you? He left heaven. He came to earth. He gave his precious blood. He was died, buried, rose again for your sins and mine. Because he does not want you to perish. John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. And God does not want you to miss heaven. And we don't want the boys and girls to perish. I was thankful for a second grade teacher who cared for my soul and didn't just teach us math and English, but taught us the truth of God's Word. I grew up in a Christian school, and when I got to high school, they offered this class when I was in the 10th grade called Child Evangelism Fellowship. I had no idea what CEF was. And I thought, how hard could it be teaching children? I mean, I knew Mr. Crane's Bible class, and I thought teaching children, how hard could it be? Little did I know how much work went into teaching boys and girls God's Word, and how they would look up at me and those big eyes and soak in everything I'd have to say. And as a teenager taking the CEF class, my 10th, 11th, 12th grade years, my first time taking it, we would cut out the phonograph figures, make the final boards, and we would get ready and take our first 6 weeks to prepare how to counsel children. We could give a clear presentation of the gospel, give them the opportunity to believe and accept Jesus as the Lord and Savior. And we had to learn that it wasn't our decision for the child, but it had to be the child's decision. As bad as I might want to for them to accept Jesus, I couldn't do it for them. If I could talk them into it, anybody else could talk them out of it, right? And that so many times, believers that are sincere and caring will have this, do you love Jesus? Do you want to go to heaven and pray this prayer? And that's not counseling, that's railroading, manipulation. You can have every child nodding their head, ready to pray. Whatever prayer you want them to pray, you have no idea why. And if there is a magic prayer in the Bible, if you just repeat these words and poof, you're a Christian, there's not. Just so you know. But if there was, of course, we would have every child start every class with, okay, boys and girls, repeat after me. Dear God, and we'd have them all repeat the prayer with me. And I know believers that are sincere that want to see lost people saved, and they mess up. I'd much rather have a child walk out the door knowing that they're lost than walk out the door thinking they're going to heaven for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
Much rather have a child walk out the door knowing they're lost. You have a child who thinks, I'm good enough, I can get to heaven like I am, and a child who knows that they've sinned and done wrong and can't get to heaven. Which one's closer to understanding? The child who recognizes they're a sinner. Until they recognize they're a sinner, they can't see their need for a Savior. Point boys and girls in the right direction. You're going to be a missionary to Russia. It's good enough Russia. You're going to be a missionary to China, it's good to know Chinese. If you're going to be a missionary to children, it's good to know childrenese, just like the foreign language. Yeah, sometimes when you're talking to boys and girls, how they can misunderstand what you're sharing with them. Jesus died. He was buried. He arose. You never thinking Jesus died. He was buried. He said, wow. He arose. The most, I like how many, and I took that by surprise when I realized I was asking a group of children what sin was. What is sin? And they said the white stuff down at the beach. And you realize pretty quick that the child has no clue what S-I-N means. And a lot of children don't. A lot of children only heard the name of Jesus in the first word. And they don't know the truth of God's Word. How can they do without teaching? Unless we go and we present God's Word to them, unless we love them and care for them and take God's Word to them. I was trained in the CEF and given, as a teenager, given the chance, it was a requirement for the class, and we taught a good music club once a week in the elementary of our school and once a week outside of school in the neighborhood. So I was teaching a second grade class each week as a teenager. And I was standing lessons and telling, and their eyes got this big, and we'd ask review questions at the end, and I recognized those words. They had come out of my mouth. They hadn't come from their preacher, their mom or dad, their school teacher. I recognized it. Wow, what a humbling thing. I dug so much as a teenager, studying God's Word that to teach boys and girls more so than I could ever learn sitting in a class letting someone talk to me. And now I was teaching boys and girls. I thought I already studied the material. I teach it just one time outside of school. I was only required to do one, but 4 or 5 neighborhoods. I live on a family farm, I mentioned, so when it came to my neighborhood, I had horses and cows. So they took me downtown Raleigh from the neighborhood, 300-unit apartment complex off Martin Luther King Boulevard called Chavis Heights. Now at that time, in '84, it was one of the top 3, Chavis Heights, Walnut Terrace, Halifax Court, the 3 in Raleigh that got its name in the news for not the best reasons. And when I went there and met Jessie Copeland, who the community room was named after, the Copeland Center, she had death threats against her for interfering with the drug dealers in her neighborhood. And I thought, what? Where have you people brought me to? And it didn't take a few weeks. And those kids, they didn't care what color I was. They knew that I cared for them, and I loved them. And I had mothers and grandmothers that would make me come to step in the porch. And you stand right here until this group goes by. And they'd look after me, watch after me. I knock on doors, invite boys and girls to come to the community room, to the Good News Club each week. And I did that in my 10th, 11th, 12th grade years. Each summer I became a summer missionary to the CEF. They trained us one spot in the state of North Carolina, right now it's in the mountains at our Camp Good News. And 12 to 14-year-olds could be trained in how to do the missionary story and how to do the songs and do the wordless book and sharing the gospel. And then the 15 and older could be trained as senior missionaries. That training is coming up June 10th to the 16th at our Camp Good News. And then they would do 4 neighborhoods a day, 5 days a week. It might be in one person's neighborhood from 9 to 10 o'clock, another from 11 to 12, another from 2 to 3, and another from 4 to 5. And I would teach in those 4 neighborhoods Monday, Bible lesson, missionary story, songs, verse, review game. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and the next week I had 4 new neighborhoods to go into. I was a missionary, but for the summer. And I was at home. It was the closest thing to be on the foreign field, but being able to lay my head on my own pillow at night. And I learned to have people to pray for what we were doing, sharing Jesus. And it was that experience when I went to Bible college, and they pushed the foreign field and all the different language groups and people groups and wonderful places around the world to meet Jesus. God used my experience. I used to think growing up that I had to go to Russia or Africa or China to be a missionary. And what God used was Acts 1:8, to be His witness in Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, to the uttermost parts of the earth, and to use the faces of those boys and girls in Halifax Court, and Chavis Heights, and Kentwood, and Heritage Park, and all the different neighborhoods that had been in. God used those. Those children were not darkening the church door, and the church wasn't getting to them. And He called me to be a missionary. Sometimes people say, well, you'll work with children until you get a youth job, right? Or you're going to work with youth until you get pastor. Or you're here at home, until you can find your spot in the field. You're on furlough, right? If you're a missionary. And I said, no, God called me to children. He saved me as a child. He burdened my heart with the souls of children. And I'm not an entertainer of children. I'm not a babysitter of children. I'm a minister of the gospel of boys and girls. And that we look for any God-honoring way to get to them, get Jesus to them, or get them to Jesus, right? And how can we do that? Well, in CEF, they have a 5-day club during the summer, but they also have big youth club during the school year. When child evangelism was started in 1937, it was a quote that started the ministry by Charles Haddon Spurgeon. Their child of 5, if properly instructed, can savingly believe and be regenerated as an adult. Now, J. Irvin Overholzer, who heard that statement, he thought, Spurgeon, you're utterly wrong. He thought, that's impossible. That's the way he thought it. But he thought, that's impossible. What if he's wrong? He began to study Scripture. Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, the letters, the epistles that Paul to the churches, how it was written to the believers, to the saints in Ephesus, to the saints. He went through and addressed Christian mothers, Christian fathers, Christian masters, Christian servants, to address Christian children. Children obey their parents in the Lord, this is wrong. The requirement of a deacon to be the husband of one wife, but yet be have believing children. In Matthew chapter 18, where Jesus explains to his disciples who want to be the greatest in the kingdom of heaven, what greatness really is. Except to be converted and become as a little child, you won't even enter the kingdom of heaven. And that they had to humble themselves even as a little child to admit that they're a sinner, to accept the Savior. They didn't have to be more grown up to be saved. They had to be more humble, believing, trusting. If you look in Matthew chapter 18, verses 1 through 14, you'll find that message to the disciples from Jesus. Do you know that 86% of those who receive Jesus as their Lord and Savior do so by the age of 14? 86%. As a person gets older, statistically, they're not more likely to become Christian. They are less likely. If I was to ask in this room, how many of you believe and receive Jesus as your Lord and Savior, age 14 or younger? Would you show me raise your hand? Right. And on the other hand, age 15 or older. You know, the longer, if this is the right way, your right hand, right direction, and this is the left, the wrong way, the longer you go in the wrong direction, right? It's a bigger pill to swallow to admit I've been wrong that long. Right? To admit that the person who's trying to work and earn and deserve their way to heaven, to recognize that I can't do that. It's by grace that I'm saved. It's not of my works. For us to humble ourselves, be broken, to admit that I'm a sinner and I can't possibly get to heaven on my own, to believe and receive Jesus as my Lord and Savior. You know, children are naturally believing and trusting. You know, you tell a child the sky is falling, look out, because here it comes, right? You know, children are just say it like it is. Why does that person look like you're like, shh? Embarrassing. We call it gullible, right? Children are actually gullible. I like to think of it as children believing. They actually believing and trusting until they misuse or abuse and you can't learn not to believe and trust. I learned how to share my faith through CEF. I came back from Bible college, went to Child Evangelism Institute in Warrenton, Missouri, and then started full-time with CEF in 1987. And I met my wife that summer as a summer missionary. She was from Asheboro and I was from Raleigh. And they brought all the young people together. And we corresponded for 4 years. We were married in 27. So my boys have come on board with the ministry. We love serving Jesus together. I became the Raleigh director in 1993. And in 2016, became the state director for Child Evangelism Fellowship. We have Child Evangelism Fellowship, if you're not familiar with it, started in 1937. Over the years, last year, reached 22.9 million children with the good news of Jesus around the world. 216 countries. CEF has had a goal for around the world in 80 years. 2017 was its 80th birthday. We are in all countries of the world but one, with ongoing regular ministry, not just until we come on. 96% of our full-time workers are nationals in CEF. We're in all 50 states and 90 states. In North Carolina, last year, we had 163 elementary schools, public elementary schools with weekly Bible clubs called the News Clubs. When it was started in 1937, Mr. Overholzer was going and begging pastors of the need to reach the children. And he wasn't getting very far with the churches. Lots being done to reach teenagers, lots being done to reach adults, but not children. You know, we found success with the mothers and grandmothers who said, children collect in my yard, and I want to share Jesus' story. And he trained them to do neighborhood Bible clubs, and that was where the Good News Club started. A once-a-week Bible club in people's homes, full of cookies and Jesus, sharing Jesus. And that, in South Carolina, CEF has 300 public school Good News clubs out of their 600 public elementary schools. 300 out of 600 schools each week, right now, currently. In North Carolina, 164 elementary schools out of 1,200 schools in North Carolina. Our goal is to see a church adopt every elementary school. For us to have 5 to 10 that will say, I will serve in the Good News Club in school one afternoon a week. And that we train, provide material, and get them to adopt. So that we have a Good News Club, a way to reach people that don't reach the church with the good news of Jesus. Not entertainers and babysitters, but ministers of the gospel of boys and girls. And it is our desire to establish and grow the CEF chapters in the Wilmington area. Al and Team Cameron with, some of you know, they're are coming from West Virginia to move from Wilmington to be the directors and to help them work to get growing in this area. Many of you know Margaret Lee Bash, and that she lined up for me to come, and I'm very grateful. Known her work in Hungary, and her work with the CEF. We praise God for people who have given their lives to show Jesus. I want to encourage you that you would allow God to speak to you for the needs of boys and girls, for spiritual needs, to share Jesus with them. I brought a song. And this is, it's one of the CEF songs. I set the one, Stop and Let Me Tell You What the Lord Has Done For Me. I didn't know if anybody recognized it, but some people know CEF people from the past, and I put that song down. The one-way song. One way, God said, to get to heaven, Jesus is the only way. Some of the CEF video songs. This is one that's for missions. But it says, there are children all around the world, children just like me. Isn't that scary? Children everywhere on earth, across the land and sea. They need to hear that Jesus died and lives to set them free. Who will go and let them know, oh Lord, send me? There are children in my neighborhood, children out to play, children who have never heard that Jesus is the way. He died and came alive again and lives in heaven today. Help me go and let them know, oh Lord, I pray. Help me go and let them know, oh Lord, I pray. To ask God, here am I, send me. In that beautiful song of Mark said, that here I am. Lord, would you use me? Would you work in and through me to will to do your good pleasure? You turn to Mark chapter 1, verse 16. Mark chapter 1, verse 16. I want to talk to you a little bit about fishing. Anybody in the room like to fish? I am not a fisherman. Now, it's like golfing. I've been golfing twice. I went to a Sunday school class. I went for their entertainment. That they would enjoy seeing me try to hit a golf ball. Only 2 times a week. When I go fishing, I go with my family. I don't really care if I catch anything. I just go for the family time. Actually, matter of fact, I'm usually hoping I don't catch anything because then I don't have to do anything else on the hook. I don't have to take anything out of the water or clean anything. But I usually end up getting stuff, cleaning up the boat and cleaning up stuff. Anyway, when I was growing up, I enjoyed fishing. To be a fisher of fish. Well, anybody heard of Jerry Flower? Anybody ever heard of him? Well, Jerry Flower tells a fishing story. This long. Actually, this long. But he tells a fishing story. And he tells about this person who is catching fish when nobody else is catching fish. I believe his name is Paul. But he's catching fish, and the game warden takes notice. And the game warden wants to know how he's catching fish when nobody else is catching fish. And so he decides he's going to go on this fishing trip with him. So he takes him out on the boat, and he starts to notice pretty soon that they're missing a few things. I mean, where's the bait? Where's the rod and the reel? There's some essential pieces missing. Well, about that time, Paul turns around with a stick of dynamite lit. And he throws it in the water. Boom! You know, the fish come to the top. And his country way of telling it, they were just whooping them out of the water. Had that net, just whooping it out of the water, putting them in the boat. And about that time, the game warden is having a conniption fit. I mean, he is having a fit. What are you doing? You can't do that. That's against law. You can't do that. About the time, he turns back around with another lit stick of dynamite and hands it to him. And as he's giving all of the excuses of why you can't fish that way, the famous words was, "Are you going to stand there and argue? Or fish?" And that's how it ends. That's how the joke ends. So, you know, he couldn't have held on to that thing really for much longer. I think that he was going to join him in fishing, and then wouldn't really be able to get him in trouble for doing the same thing the game warden had just joined him doing.
Right.
When it comes to us as believers,